So what I want to do in this video is just kind of give people a chance that might be interested to see how I go from an original image like this to my final image like this, just to kind of see the workflow that I do, and you know, not really teach you guys any tricks or hidden gems in Photoshop. There's plenty of channels for that, and I don't, you know, and I watch those just like, you know, the next person does. So this isn't really the video if you want to learn some really cool secret things, but if you want to see how, you know, my workflow is on an image like this, then you know, this is the video for that, to kind of see, you know, how I get to the final image. I'm gonna go ahead and take this image over into Photoshop, and you can see here, this is the original image, and then here is the processed image. So, you know, right away we can see lots of differences that make this image here really unique. And let me, oops, oh, cancel. Okay, let me bring this back up here. Okay, so anyway, first thing I do when I open an image, now keep in mind I shot this at 2.8 with a single monolight, and the main focus was I just wanted her eyes, you know, to be really sharp. And so I did my lighting and my metering like I was supposed to. So it's great when you start out with a great image the way you wanted it, which is what this is. So anyway, the first thing I look for is in an image when I go to edit is I scan it and see what things I notice that immediately take my attention away from, you know, the what I think the image should be, you know, things that are distracting. And right away when I scan the image, I see some I'm not sure if it's makeup fragments or dust from the wind, but I see these. So I'm just going to go ahead and get my spot healing brush tool, and then I'm going to just go ahead and take away some of these little specks with the healing brush, not spot healing, with the healing brush. I'm not really looking to fix any skin imperfections here. I'll do that in a little bit. I'm just looking at the overall image to identify immediate distractions, and that's really those right there for me were really the only big distractions that I saw that I wanted to get rid of. So with that, we'll go ahead and the next thing I'm going to do is after I clear up those little distractions, I'm going to go ahead and fix the skin blemishes now that I see some of the little skin imperfections, and I'll just use the spot healing brush for that. Because if you don't fix some of these little skin imperfections, what happens when you go to do like skin softening and things like that, it's going to kind of exacerbate those, and it's going to make some weird colors and shadows, and it's going to introduce some things that weren't in the image before. So it's best just to go ahead and fix them now. And since I shot this at 2.8, a lot of it is pretty soft to begin with. So we'll go ahead and just fix some of these main ones that I see right now that I think could benefit from being edited. And shooting at 2.8 really helps to minimize some of that stuff too. This one here, I think we'll go ahead and do that one too. It's not that obvious, but I see it, so I might as well address it. And everybody, no matter how glamorous or not glamorous, or how well known a model or not you are, everybody has skin imperfections, and that's okay. We're just going to fix those. Okay, so I've gone ahead and fixed some of that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pushed the wrong button. I'm going to go ahead over here and I'm going to start doing some fixing on the skin, little frequency separation. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and that's pretty high. Let's go over here. I used control and the plus sign for that so I could enlarge it while I'm inside the filter dialog box. And I know from already having edited this picture that I really liked a value of between 8 and 10. So we'll go ahead and do 9. Okay. Then I'm going to go up here. Okay. I'm going to over here to image, apply image. This is going to go down to subtract, and I'm going to do this to layer 1. Okay. And I'm going to push commit to that, and I'm going to change the blend mode of that to, I think it's linear light. Let's find out. Let me group these together and then turn them off and on, and we'll see. Yeah, it's linear light. So sometimes I get it mixed up with vivid light. But anyway, so what you should see now is no difference between this group and the original background layer. So what I'll do now is I'll come in here, I'll open this up, I'm going to go to this layer, I'm going to select my lasso tool, and I know because I've edited this already that a feather radius of 50 is going to be fine. And I'm just going to go through here like this. Okay. And then I'm going to go over here to filter, blur. I'm going to go to Gaussian blur. And I'm going to enter a value over here. It's like 0. And as you move it up, you can see the effects start to change. It'll get really cuckoo if you don't watch it. So I'm thinking right here I like a value of, I'll show you, I'll just take it all the way up so it looks all crazy as heck, and then we'll go back down. It's fine to me right there, about 20. Okay. And what I'll do is I'll do the same thing right in here. I don't want to do the nostrils because then it makes a weird looking kind of deal. And I'll just hit Control Alt F to filter the same value. To filter, you know, apply the last filter, and then we'll do it over here. And you can hit, I can hit the blood if you want. It's not going to be a big difference. I can bring sharpening back to that by adding contrast and clarity to the edge of the blood, so it won't be a big deal. Okay, we'll do the same thing over here. Just kind of come down in here, up, right in through there. Control Alt F, Control D, deselect. Okay. Then I'll come down in here. We'll do the same thing. I don't mind going over this blood, like I say, because I can bring some sharpness back to the edges by using some clarity. Okay. Okay. So we'll zoom back out. Okay. And so, and like I say, you can turn the group off and you can see the after and the before. All it does is it leaves some texture, but it takes away some of the whoops it takes away some of the a little bit of the you know, the natural color changes and stuff in the skin and some of the other things that we want to, for this image, you know, not have. I want to soften those up a bit because of the type of image that I'm going to make this. So okay, I'm going to do a stamp visible layer, Shift Control Alt E, and I'm going to do that, make another copy of it. Then I'm going to hit Control I. I'm going to change the blend mode on this to vivid light. Okay, I'm going to commit to that. Then I'm going to filter, other high pass. Okay, and then I'm going to do Control and the plus sign so you can see the effect of this. Let's go down. Okay, I don't want that texture to disappear. I just want to smooth it out a little bit more. Okay, so do it about right there. Okay, and then finally I'm going to hit blur, Gaussian blur, drag this all the way back. Okay, now as you go up in the scale, the higher the number, the more that goes, that previous high pass goes away. So I'm thinking I really like 6 for this. So we'll do 6, and since it applied it globally, what I'm going to do is just make that into a layer mask and push Alt and that right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit my brush tool, and let's get in here with my brush tool, foreground set to white. We can do 50% is fine. So if you want to build on it, whoops, wrong button, sorry. There we go, brush 50%. And we'll brush some of this back in at 50%. And I'm using a Wacom tablet, which is really nice because it allows me to really get in some fine lines by using more or less pressure. I really like this tablet, man. It's an awesome tool to have. Let me look at my, there we go. Okay, see the areas that I missed up here on the forehead that I want to be sure to get. Okay, so you can see these are the eyes. We don't want anything going on with the eyes. Okay, nose and stuff in here I haven't hit. It probably won't hit the nose. It's already, you know, blurred from the wide aperture, so we want to keep that. We don't want to blur that anymore or soften it any more than it is. We'll soften some of this in here. Okay, maybe right in here a little bit. Right over this eyebrow a little bit here. Right in there. Okay. Okay, maybe the corners of the mouth just a little bit. Okay. And what we'll do is, this gives you an idea of already where you've hit. You know, this is in between the blood. We didn't do the nose. We did right in here. This is the corner of the mouth, right over the eye, but below the eyebrow. You know, just like a layer mask. Okay, so we can turn that off and on to see the effect. Let me zoom in so you guys can see that real quick. Okay, that's without it, and that's with it. It's real subtle, but it's effective for this image. And if you want, you can even lower the opacity and the overall effect of the skin blur, but I like it, so we're going to keep it like that. And since I've already edited this video, I know how, you know, what I want and stuff like that. I'm not going to be really working in groups. I'm just going to go ahead and commit these images, these changes, so that I don't have a huge file for this video. So okay, we've got that. So the next thing I really want to do is I want to go in and I want to do some dodging and burning on this. So first thing I'm going to do, and there's a lot of ways you can dodge and burn. For this image, I'm going to do first, I'm going to do it this way, and then I'm going to go in and I'm going to do another way on some smaller details. But I'm just going to hit screen on this, commit to that, then I'm going to double click on it, and I'm going to use my blend if, probably right about there, and then open that up, like about right there. Let's go back a little bit more. That's good. Okay, turn that off. Go down here, hit multiply. Okay, and blend if on that also. Probably right in there. Bring this back just a little. Right there, okay. And we'll go up here. Group these, put a mask on them, apply image. And we'll change this to multiply. Where's multiply? There it is. Okay, we'll click OK. And what we'll do is, you can lower, you know, if you want to lower the opacity, the effect of this, you can. You know, what I generally like to do, I'll make a stamp visible layer, and then I'll turn this one off, and then I'll layer mask between this one and the original. So I'll go between these two. And what I'll do is I'll create a layer mask, and then I'll go in and I'll brush this back in. You can do, you know, I want to be able to build it up a little bit. So for example, we'll go in here and actually, I think 20 is a little much. So let's go down to shift 0.5, and that's going to get shift 0.5. It's going to give me 5%. There we go. And I'm going to turn the pressure off so that I just get a nice soft brush in here like this, and I can brush some of this back in where I really like it. Okay, and I'm going to do this kind of in a you know, broad brush kind of way, and then later I'm going to go through and I'm going to refine it. So like that. And then what I'll do even further is let me show you the before and after. Okay, there's the before, here's the after. Then I'll go double click on this, and you can even feather this out a little bit and watch what it does to the highlights. It just smooths them a little bit more. And I think you can even go down and just drop the opacity down just a touch. And I mean, that really gives it a nice effect. I really like that. I'm not going to commit to this. I'm going to go ahead and do a stampable layer. And then let's see, from here, I really like that. Let me take a look at my other one over here. I do have a little more shadow on this one. So what you could do is, if you want to do a little more shadow, you can just do a curves adjustment layer on here. And you can drag this down just a little bit, not too much, because it'll start to change the color of the skin, and you don't really want that. And then you can actually take this into just the dark parts of the image. By using blend diff. I like that. And then drag this down just a little bit more. Probably right in there. Okay, and then we'll double check this blend diff slider, make sure I'm in the right spot. Yeah, there we go. Open that up just a little bit more. Okay, now with that done, then I'll invert the layer mask, and then I'll just go ahead and brush back. I'm at 5%. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and brush a little bit of shadow back in here. And that makes it so I'm not have to be so precise when I'm painting, because I use the blend diff, so it's going to apply it just to the darker areas. That's what those sliders were for. That's what I like about that little blend diff. Same up here, just a little bit like this. I really like that. Okay. Okay, now here's the before, I mean the after, and there's the before. It's real subtle. And then too, you can go ahead and give it a little bit of a feather, just so it softens the edge of it up a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and commit to all that so I don't have a huge file size. And then from there, I really like that. We're looking pretty much on track, as with this processed image. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and continuing with the dodging and burning, I'm going to get some of these reflections back in the lips. There's a couple ways you can do this. You can do a curves adjustment layer, and bump this up and just look at the lips. That's all I'm looking at right now. It's just the lips. And then I can commit to that. I can use blend diff and slide this over here. And right now, keep in mind, I'm just looking at the lips. Okay, everything else doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm thinking right about in there. We can go like that. Then we can Control I. I can zoom in, and I can just go ahead and hit brush and begin to. Let me go to 20%. Just make my brush a little smaller, and we can go ahead and just. Actually, let's do shift 0.5, so it's not so. There we go. So we can build it up a little bit. There we go. I really like a little highlight in there, and then over in here there's a little shine also. And by using that blend diff, you can keep it pretty precise. And that's a good trick I learned from some other channels. Okay, so and then also you can go back and do a little feather on this. See, big feather, then you don't see anything. Soft feather like that, and we're pretty good. So there's the after, and that's the before. What I'll do is I'll bring this down just a little bit, right in there. Okay, and we can actually soften that up just a little bit more. Right there. Let's do, that's 10, 9.9, let's do, oh, whoops, let's do 11. Okay, I like that, it's nice. Okay, so there's after and there's before. I really like that, it's really nice looking, I think. Okay, so we've addressed some of the dodging and burning, we've got some of the lip done. Done some frequency separation, some skin softening. Next thing I want to do the eyes. We're going to go ahead and actually first, yeah, let's do the eyes. So the way I'm going to do the eyes is I'm going to make 2 layers real quick, and I'm going to do a curves adjustment layer, and all I'm looking at in this image is just the eyes, how bright I want them to be. Probably right in there looks really good. And then I'm going to hit my blend diff, and that looks good right there. Then I'm going to do a control I on that, and I'm going to zoom in quite a bit here, whoops, so that I can really get these close in, and hit my brush tool, and we're going to do 50% on this, and I'm going to turn on my pressure sensitivity here, and I'm going to go in here first of all. Okay, let's do this. What are we doing? Why is nothing happening? Oh, opacity. What happened there? What happened, man? Something changed. There we go. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go 20. A little bit bigger brush. Just kind of get in here and whiteness a little bit. And when you check this, it really helps if you got a Wacom tablet, because you can really adjust your pressure and get a nice fine line in there. Whoops, no, I don't want a quick mask mode. Okay, so what we'll do is brush, and we'll do 100%. And let me pause this real quick. Okay, sorry, I had to take a little pause. Life happens, right? So we were adjusting the eyes, okay? So you can see here I've got the eyelids a little brighter, and we've got some inside the eye as well. I'll tell you what I want to do. Let me just go ahead and delete that and push brush, and let's just focus on one part of the eye at a time. Let me right now zoom in on these eyelids, and let me brighten these eyelids just a little bit here. Okay, let's do this at 20% because that's a little bit much. I'd rather build it up than just do it in one big quick swash. Okay. Brighten this up just a little bit in here. I always brighten that up. Okay, because there's always some little highlight in there from the moisture in the eye. Okay. There's some little reflections on the top of the skin here, so let's do Shift 0.5, and we'll just give a little bit of reflection to that. Okay, we'll zoom out just a little bit and see what we've got. Okay, I might feather this just a touch. Move this out of the way so you can see. You don't want to feather it too much because then it just disappears and rolls off into parts you don't want. So right in there, I like that pretty much. There's off, there's on. Okay, I like that. So what I'll do is I'll do a stamp visible layer, and then I'll do another curves adjustment layer, and this will affect the actual whites of the eye. So we'll do curves. Okay, right now we're just looking at the whites of the eye. We'll drag this up a little bit, right in there. Okay, then I'll just do Control I, brush foreground color white, and I'll do let me zoom in, Control plus sign, and I'll do 20%. You don't want this to look ridiculous and just pure white. So what I'll do is we'll just come in here just a little bit. You don't want to brighten up noise, you know, exposure noise. That's okay. So we'll just brighten these up just a little bit, right in there, maybe a little bit more. Okay, let's see. Zoom out and take a look. This one here could stand to be okay. I don't want. Let's feather this just a little bit. Okay, and then let's take this up just a little bit more. There we go. Okay, and then let's take and just a little bit like that. Okay. Okay, I like that's fine. This might be a little bright here still. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my brush tool. I'm going to change my foreground color to black. I'm going to decrease my flow to 10%, and I'm just going to do a quick brush over that. There we go. So it's not so bright right there. Okay, there we go. That's better, I think. Okay, much better. I like that. Okay, now stamp visible layer. We'll do another curves adjustment layer, and I'm gonna just go inside the eye, the iris of the eye. Zoom in on this. Okay, brush. We'll do 20%. So change my foreground color. Add a little bit of a feather in there so the lines aren't so harsh, the edges. That's good like that. Okay. This side here looks a little. Change that. Brush tool. We'll go to Shift 5. Shift 5. 0505. There we go. And we just back this off a little bit. It's got some weird color that got introduced to it there, and I don't like that. There we go. I mean, it's part of the eye, right there, where the pupil and the iris go together, but it just seems to be really exaggerated because of the eye over lighting it. So that's good like that. Okay, one more thing I'm going to do right here. We'll do another curves adjustment layer, and I'm just going to look at the overall eye socket itself, and Control I, brush, change my foreground color, 10. Feather that out so it doesn't look so blotchy. There we go. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so the eyes, I'm pretty happy with what we've done so far. Fixed some distractions, did some skin adjusting, skin smoothing, lightened, did some dodging and burning, and then also I'm going to go through real quick right now, and I'm going to do a hue saturation adjustment layer, and I'm going to just affect the reds, and I may just use let's see, bring these up, and I'm just looking at the blood, the lips, and the eye makeup. That's all. I like that. Turn that, make a layer mask. Brush, we'll do 20%, and I'm going to brush this. I'll build this up and bring some color into here. Okay. Even under the eyelid, because I really like the way that eyelid is with some color in there. Okay. And we'll do the same thing in here, so I don't lose my. I just do Control and the plus sign. Okay. Let's do some of this blood. Actually, let's do Shift 50% so it doesn't take so long. Okay, I like the way that's looking there. Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Okay, so another thing I want to do, I really think, let me take a look at my other one. Okay, I've got some details to go over on the hair, and then some sharpening. Let's do, sharpening will be last. Let's go to Camera Raw. Actually, let's make a duplicate layer. We'll go to Camera Raw. I love Camera Raw, man. And what we'll do is we'll bump this clarity up, and I'm going to look at different parts of the image and see where I like what the clarity does. I like the clarity what it does to the blood. I like the clarity what it does to the hair. And we're at 29 clarity, so what I'll do is I'll go back. Now I'll go to the adjustment brush, and I'll reset all these values here. Reset these, and then I'll add a new, I'll click the mask, and then I'm going to add a clarity up to the value that we looked at a minute ago, which was 29, because I really like that. 29, not 33. Now 30 is fine too. Okay, Control plus, and I'm going to go in and I'm just going to brush on the blood and stuff. This will give me an edge to the blood too, since I softened it from the high pass filter and the frequency separation. This will give me some a little edge on there. Okay. Oh, whoops! Got out of there. That's why I do the Control plus. That way it doesn't kick me out. Let me make this back on. Okay. Let me brush in here just a little bit right here. Okay, just certain parts of the hair, not the blurry parts of the hair, because then you're just sharpening blurry stuff and it doesn't look right. Okay, let me turn this mask off. Okay, now 29 was cool, but I don't really think I want the eyes yet. I want to leave those alone. I like the rest of it though. It looks good. Erase this off of here. There we go. Make sure none is on there. Okay, that's good. Okay, and let's do a little contrast, which is pretty much what clarity is. Okay, I'm good with that. Okay, so let me pause this one more time. So you can look down here and see kind of what we did to the blood and some of the hair. Just added a little clarity to it. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through and do some kind of dodging and burning to the hair. I'm just gonna do it with some curves adjustment layers. we can do screen on this one, and all we're looking at is the hair. So right there, and then bring that up. Okay, then we'll go over here to multiply, commit to that, blend if. We're just looking at the dark parts of the hair right now, which is most of it. Okay, split that up, then we'll go like this, then we'll group these, put a little layer mask on there, apply image, apply image, multiply, and all we're looking at is the hair. We don't care about the rest of it. Okay, just the hair. So then what we'll do is make a stamp visible layer, because I don't want to use that mask. It's just this way I can paint it back in the spots that I want. Okay, so brush, we'll set the flow to 20%, fine. And you don't want to do this on parts that are like blurry, because it's just going to make it look like a mess. You want to do it on the parts that are fairly sharp, or they can be blurry, but they need to be at a low opacity. You'll see what I'm doing. Like right here, here's a nice little highlight. Let's get over here to 20%. Here's a nice little highlight in here. We'll build that up. Okay, and we got, you know, a little highlight right in here. We'll just build this up, and I'm just kind of just shaping the hair a little bit. Okay, just the parts to give it some depth. Right in here, right in here, in here. Okay. Alright. You want to stay away from the blurrier parts of it, because that just makes a mess. Okay. Okay. Let's see, turn this off. Change this to 50%. Go into some of these darker areas here. Whoops. White. Whoops. Hey, wrong one. I'm on the wrong layer. Ah. There we go. Whoa. White reveals, black conceals. Always got to remember that. Why did it kick me over there? Let's see. That's odd. Let's see, everything is right. That's pretty weird. Shouldn't be doing that. That's I'm on brush, opacity, flow. That's all good. White reveals. It should be There we go. That's kind of weird. It was some little glitch, I guess. Sometimes Photoshop does some weird crap. I don't know. We're just adding little depth and layers to the hair here. That's all. You can do it like this too. So that's with it. This is without it. It's pretty subtle difference. We'll just feather it a little bit. Okay. Okay, we'll commit to that. Okay, now pretty much what I'm going to do now, we're almost, you know, right where we need to be. I'm going to do some sharpening, different sharpening methods to different parts of the image. So we'll do 3 layers. I'm going to go over here, turn this off, and then we're going to go over here and I'm going to filter, blur, whoops, that's not the one, filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and I think we're going to Gaussian blur go up to 60. Okay, I'm going to come back over here, then I'm going to go image, I'm going to go apply image, I'm going to go subtract, and I'm going to do it to layer 1. Okay, then I'm going to change this to, let's try hard light, turn this one off, and we're just looking at the hair. in this one. Hard light is not bad. Let's try vivid light. No go, I don't like that. Overlay. I really like hard light for the hair. So we'll commit to that. We'll make a layer mask of that, invert it, and then we'll just brush these things back in. And don't try to sharpen the blurry parts of the image because that looks crummy. Just the parts that are already sharp. You know, right in here. Okay, let's take a look. Looks good right there. So, and this kind of, you can see the effect down in here and in some of the hair. It just gives a little depth to it. Okay, I'm gonna throw this out. Now we're gonna just look at the eyes. The way I'm gonna sharpen these eyes is, let's go over here to filter, other. We're gonna do high pass. I really like high pass. I want to get a good amount of contrast between the edge. Not 30, that's for sure. Let's do about a 10. That's fine. And we're gonna take this over to soft light, and we're just looking at the eyelids here. Okay, let's try soft light. Okay, I like that. So let's zoom back out a little bit. Make a layer mask on that. Okay, and we'll come in here and we'll brush the sharpness back in. And we'll do right in here. And we'll do the little eyelid. Don't do the whites of the eye. That looks crummy. We'll do a little bit up here. You can do a little bit of this in here. One quick pass on that. Okay, same thing over here. Okay. We'll turn it off and on. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, there's with it on. There's with it off. It's a subtle difference, but it's a, I mean, you can even change that. Let's do a linear light. See, it's really crappy. Vivid light, just way too much. I really like soft light. It just depends on the image. Okay, so let's keep it like that. Okay, and we'll commit to that. Now, I really think, let's see what this other image has that this one doesn't. Let's get a quick look. This is the one we're working on now. Let's double check. Yeah, this is the one we're working on now. We're looking pretty much right on time, like we should. These eyelids are a little bit not as bright, but that's okay. I like it. I think it's great. Turn this one off. No, I don't want to save that, but I do want to bring this back up here. Okay, now, so I'm really liking that. I'd like a little more on this lip though. Here's another way you can do some highlights on, create a new layer, fill it with white, and then I'm going to go to soft light, click OK. I'm going to do my blend if, and I'm just looking at the lips right now. There we go. Bring this back out. Okay. Then I'm going to make this into a layer mask. I'm going to zoom in, brush, 0.5. 0.5, okay. And we'll just touch these little spots a little bit because I really think they should be a little bit brighter. that looks good. I like that. Little there. I really like that a lot better now. Those lips look like they got some shine to them, much better. Okay, so and really that's it, man. Let me add a little color to that hair. Hue saturation adjustment there. Let's go to the reds and just kind of select this. Just looking at the hair. There we go. And we can select just certain parts. Just do Shift 5. Just change the flow to 50%, and then I'm just gonna certain parts of the hair back. Not all of it, just enough to create a little depth in there. Actually, okay, there we go. Okay, and I think we're pretty good with this. Everything's looking pretty good on that. I like it. We can, you know, and that's, I mean, really that's the way that, you know, I edit that picture. Let me just put my signature brush on there. There we go. That's the way, you know, that my workflow for that picture. I mean, it's nothing really super fancy. You know, it just Shift 20. It's just the way that I edited this picture. So hopefully you guys like the video. Maybe you learned something from it. Maybe, you know, it's just nice to sit and share with people. But there you go. Thanks a lot.